These are some observations I haven't really seen any good answers for that I wanted to go over. I don't expect us to come to like an actual conclusion on anything here, but this is just me sharing my perspective on things, you know. So this is the longest bridge in the world, Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge in China.
Mm-hmm.
And I checked all this math. It checks out. We can double check it if you want, but I did it before even adding this to the list. Yeah, the bridge is 102.4 miles long, which, using the equation for the curvature of the Earth, which some people like to say isn't the actual equation because it doesn't make a full circle, doesn't matter. We're using short distance here. It's a parabola, but it works over 1/4 of the way, which anything past that doesn't even matter. It's dipping under you after that. You can't measure that. It's stupid.
Okay.
You know what I mean? So we're using this equation for short distances here. This is relatively short distance for the Earth, right? 102.4 miles.
Mm-hmm.
So this is the actual equation for what the curvature would be. So there should be 6,990.5 feet of curvature here.
Yeah.
So
there should be?
There should be. And I mean,
well, let's find a curvature calculator.
Yeah, I mean, we can do that. But so, I mean, you don't see that here. And you could say it's too small to see, but no, that's 7,000 feet. Put a fucking 7,000 foot tower in the middle of this picture and tell me you wouldn't be able to see it. Bullshit. You know what I mean? 7,000 feet. That's fucking huge.
Well, because it's curving like this. It would be like, this would be like viewing it from above. You wouldn't be able to tell. Like,
you should be able to tell. 7,000 feet. The bridge should not look that straight. You should be able to see it curving.
But the bridge would be straight.
No, it wouldn't be. Why would it be straight if it's going over 7,000? It's like going over a hill of water, 7,000 feet high.
Yeah, but like if you think about like a airplane landing strip, like it's gonna curve, right?
I don't believe that. Why would it?
Well, okay.
No, not even on a sphere it wouldn't.
A straight road.
They level it out.
Well, what I'm saying is the bridge isn't gonna. It's not going up. It's going along the surface of the water. It's not, it doesn't.
So it's going over curved water. You can't level out the water and then build a bridge over level water. The water's going to curve with gravity.
Well, yeah. So the bridge is curved, but from this perspective, it's going to be flat because the water's flat.
You just said the water's flat.
Yeah, from this perspective, the water's flat. So the bridge
shouldn't be. That's the point. You should 7,000 feet. You should be able to notice that. Look at the bridge. It's completely straight. I mean, it turns over here, but you can tell it's not curving over 7,000 feet of water.
Well,
it's
I mean, the water looks pretty flat too.
Yeah, that's the point.
I mean,
it shouldn't. According to this math, it should not. You should be able to notice.
Is that so?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe so. I believe if you have a straight bridge that long, looking at it from this perspective, you should be able to see it curving.
Okay, so the two claims here is we can't see the curve on the Grand Bridge, and that that's it. That's the claim.
That's my claim here. Is that
Okay.
Where's the curve on this bridge? That's what I'm saying.
Let's learn about the Danyang Kushan Grand Bridge. Boop, boop, boop. Okay. More than 100 miles in length. It's not the world's longest sea crossing bridge anymore.
Really?
Not anymore.
Did they recently build a bigger one?
Yeah, it says that there's a...
Because this information is a little dated now. But
the Hong Kong Zhuhai Macau Bridge is still a world beater, so I guess that's always been the biggest one.
Well, what is biggest?
Longest, probably. It says the world's longest sea crossing bridge. So that one would be longer. This other one.
And it says it may have lost its title as the world's longest sea crossing bridge to the recently built Hong Kong. Yeah, so this was, and then recently they built this one. That's what I was saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're right.
So at the time that image was created, that bridge hadn't been built yet.
Yeah. And then it just like contradicts itself immediately.
Literally, yeah. Longest bridge over water. This makes this whole article like, okay, can we even trust what it's saying?
Well, they're engineers. They're not writers. Oh. You can imagine the curvature of the bridge. The journey of the bridge takes in canals, rivers, lowland, rice paddies. It is difficult to understand how engineers were able to do that.
So they're basically saying, pretty cool that they were able to build this. Who knows how they did it?
The largest bridge in the world.
Longest bridge in the world, and it listed in the Guinness Book of Records. The length of this bridge is almost 165 kilometers, but only 9 kilometers of roads over water. Danyang Kunshan Grand Bridge is located in eastern China, between the cities of Nanjing and Shanghai. Its build was started in 2008. The scope of work was enormous,
Yeah,
but in the summer of 2011, the bridge was put into operation. More than 10,000 people was building this bridge, and the construction was carried out simultaneously on both sides. All work spent a huge amount of building materials, namely 2.5 million cubic meters of concrete, as well as 500,000 tons of steel. The construction of the longest bridge in the world took the government of China a tidy sum of $10 billion. It is quite possible that in near future, the longer bridge will be built in China, which will connect the city of Zhuhai and Hong Kong.
Auto, and there's that side missing, and then there's just some construction cones, and you can just drive off the edge of the bridge. Why is that there?
We didn't talk about the curvature.
Yeah, and see, that's my thing, is like, anytime I try to look at something like this, I never find a definitive answer on that. That's why I brought it up, is because...
Ooh, this might be a good answer from Quora. Sometimes Quora has bad answers, sometimes Quora has good answers.
Yeah, I've seen some pretty good answers on that.
It just has to be an answer from the right person. Okay, so the question, let's see if this is relevant. How was it engineered to curve with the Earth? Cool. Shut up, GPT. I want the answer from this guy, the real person, you fucking asshole. Okay. On small bridges or bridges with small spans between the columns, the curvature of the earth does not affect the sizes of the structure that much. You build a column vertically, and the distance from column to column would not vary much between top and bottom. We were talking about a couple of millimeters. However, with big bridges, the curvature of the earth is taken into account. These towers are not parallel to each other. They are 41 millimeters apart at the bottom than they're at the top.
See, I don't know how we can fact check that.
Yeah.
This is my problem.
That's why
with
Quora sucks sometimes, though.
How convenient if it isn't an issue. Because what I'm saying is we should be able to observe. I think we should be able to see it. Like looking at the bridge from that height. I think we should be able to see that.
No, it's a matter of the picture. Like, it purely depends. We have to look at the engineering and, like, why, like...
I'm just talking based off of the math. Like, we should, like, looking at that bridge from that height, it should not look straight.
The lens could completely make it to where it looks all flat. It doesn't matter. Like, it's one picture doesn't prove jack.
I'm not saying one picture. That's just the best picture that I could find from the best perspective showing the entire bridge. It's really hard to get a good picture of this bridge because it's so fucking big. Yeah, that's the problem.
But from those videos, it looks like it fades out into space.
It just goes off into the distance. It doesn't.
And from that other picture, it looked flat until it went off one way. But that's because,
I mean, the bridge turned, but the actual, it looked, I mean, the overall.
But I think the angle could be misleading with that. And obviously, like, this is a big flat earther thing for a reason, because
because nobody can give a definitive answer on it.
Well, I'm sure there are plenty of definitive answers. Like,
well, I mean, let's find it then.
Yeah.
If there is, then I want to see it. That's my point. I'm not going to reject an answer if there is one. I just haven't seen it.
Let's look at this effect of its curvature on some suspension bridges. So, whose design took into account that the bridge towers are 1 5/8 inch further apart at the top than at the bottom. Stanford Linear Accelerator and Fermi-Lamb's neutrino communication experiments. Yeah, they would have to take into account. So let's look up. I don't even know how to look at that up exactly. I'm gonna keep.
See, some of this stuff, like, I don't want to spend too much time on them, so we can like revisit. You know.
Yeah. Can you just keep talking while I'm trying to find at least a little bit more on this, just to try to fill up the dead air.
See, I just want. I guess this is what I want. I want not only an answer for like how it was built and how they accounted for it, but also why don't, like, I guess I just don't understand why when we look at the bridge it looks so straight from above when it.
Well, it's probably because
it should be like I said, like there should be a 7,000 foot drop. Like that is huge. It doesn't matter like the distance you're looking at that from. That's like saying that a 7,000 foot tower in that picture would be invisible from that height. Bullshit. Bullshit. You would be able to see it. And I think the same is for like a hill, a 7,000 foot hill, you'd be able to see it. And that's basically what we're talking about is a 7,000 foot hill. See, I just want, I guess those are my problems with that. Oh shit, I think I double hit that. The wrap is like kind of coming undone too.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Man. And we also have to wade through like a bunch of flat earth sources too.
Well, I mean, I think it's good to look at answers from both sides and see who's making more sense.
Well, we have to
who actually has
have to find an actual engineer and not a fucking a flat Earth society thing, because they're going to be. No, I don't mean literally the flat Earth society.
But that's a straw man, though. To even mention.
No, I don't specifically. I'm saying right now, I don't specifically mean the flat Earth. I mean a flat Earth society, not the flat Earth society.
Okay, I misunderstood what you're saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just people saying engineers do have to account for it with large things. But there's a...
It's a pretty vague answer, but I mean... And I don't really know how we could even check on that anyway. So I guess...
Because, I mean, the engineers aren't out here, like, arguing that they have to do this. It's just part of their jobs, you know? That's why we're not finding something like this, but...
Yeah.
I want to.
That's the thing. A lot of the time when you do talk to engineers about this kind of stuff, they're just like, huh. Never really had to think about it.
Yeah, because you usually don't.
It's the same thing with pilots. Like when you ask a pilot, like, hey, do you have to like dip down? They're like, nah, I mean, I never really thought about that. We just fly straight. Like,
yeah.
So, well, I mean, it's so weird that people never have to think about it. Yeah. In any fucking field ever, nobody ever has to think about it.
Well, for certain things, yeah. It depends on the thing.
I mean...
Like a pilot obviously doesn't have to care too much about that, but...
Why is that obvious?
The same way that, like I mean, because if you have a gyroscope and you're staying level, you're always going to be level if you're going forward, you know?
But that's a whole other thing. We can talk about gyroscopes, but that's a... The way a gyroscope works is you set its spin and then it keeps its rigidity in space. It doesn't matter what surface it's sitting on. So the fact that planes stay level based off of gyroscopes... also does not add up.
They just stay lined up, right?
Yeah, they line it up with the Earth, and that keeps them level when they fly.
Well, it would be it wouldn't be a gyroscope's placement.
It is a
in
gyroscope.
Space. It would be a gyroscope's placement in relativity with the gravity of the Earth.
No. We can fact check that. That's how gyroscopes work, is rigidity in space. It has nothing to do with the gravity.
So you're saying if you go to...
if you take it... This is actually supposed to be one of the proofs that the Earth is spinning. People claim that if you set a gyroscope, it will slowly precess, and they claim that's because of the spinning of the Earth. So you can't now say that has nothing...
I just don't know about gyroscopes. I'm not now saying that.
Well, I know. What I'm saying is like... that I'm not saying you, but I'm saying like if we're talking about the explanation in general, like your explanation isn't adding up with what other people are saying proves that the Earth is spinning.
Yeah, I mean,
because that's how gyroscopes are supposed to work, is rigidity in space. But when we use it on fucking airplanes,
maybe planes don't use gyroscopes.
They do. That's something I've actually checked, and I mean, there's so many rabbit holes we can dive down.
I know, but
we don't have enough time for that.
The problem with all of these things is
you can claim any random thing and have to sift through like piles of information to disprove a claim like this,
Yeah,
that's what makes this really
that's
difficult.
what makes it a pretty nuanced topic.
But I mean,
like it's not
like, I'm not surprised that people do have to account for the curve of this, but it doesn't seem like as big of a deal as like...
Should be a pretty big deal, I think.
But if it
mathematically,
if the water looks flat in this photo, then that means the bridge is going to look flat.
Because the water's flat. That's why it looks flat, because it's not curving 7,000 feet down. If it was, you would see it curving 7,000 feet. We're talking 7,000. The bridge is 102.4 miles, right? So that's 10,000 feet long. Oh wait, is that? No, never mind. That's not. Okay, we need to find out how many miles.
Well, and what is
how many feet?
It's like an iPhone picture. Is this elevation even right or anything?
It's talking about the bridge going across the ground. It doesn't matter. The elevation doesn't matter. But okay, I want to, because how many feet is that? Because if we compare that, that's the stretch of the bridge. That's 102.4 miles. So 7,000 feet is that the whole stretch of
the bridge?
I mean, you can see land here, and you can see it.
I mean, we don't know if that's the whole stretch of the bridge at all. We're just trusting the word of this image.
I mean, we can look at other pictures. Let's look at other pictures of it then.
Okay.
Maybe that's not the whole stretch of the bridge. In fact, probably not. I don't know. I could be completely wrong about that. But I'm just saying, if we can figure out how much of the bridge we can see across in a picture and then take the amount of feet it is in length, we can visually figure out how much drop we should be able to see in the picture. Like we could mathematically figure that out.
Yeah, if I go back here, it's this one. Images. Yeah, see, that picture is only taking a segment of it because it turns right here and then it goes like that and then it goes like this.
Yeah, so I guess it must go over a couple of islands or something. Yeah,
102 miles must mean its whole length,
Well, yeah, I knew that, but I guess I wrongfully thought that picture was showing the whole length. But now that I think about it, yeah, probably not, because 102.4 miles is a very long length. But either way, do we have a fucking...
I'm looking for a satellite image of
That's what I'm saying. I want to see a picture of the whole fucking bridge then. Because if we can...
I mean, that's a lot of it. It's not the whole thing, obviously, but it shows before that curve. This is what that picture's... Here, I'll take the mouse over here. This is what that picture was taking. Just this one little straight part.
No, because it showed land. It showed it leading to land.
Probably over here.
It was
That's this
leaving land.
right here.
And
But this is that same structure.
it probably looks similar, but I don't think that's the same part. Yeah, it's not the same part.
Danyang. Kushan from satellite. Come on, baby. Kunshan.
That looks like is that supposed to? No.
Google sightseeing. Virtual globe trotting. Well, these images suck.
Yeah, it's
All these images
probably
suck.
hard to get a good picture. But yeah, it'd be nice if there was a satellite image of the entire thing. That would. Then I guess it would be hard to see any curvature from like looking straight down.
Yeah.
But I don't know. What I wanted to figure out is if we could see the whole bridge and then be like, okay, how long is this bridge in feet? And then take that the 7,000 feet chunk out of it. That would be visually how much curvature we should be able to see in the picture then.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like we can find a full picture of the bridge. So
Maybe there's a better source in here. Fucking. Is 102 miles too small to see from space? Maybe that's why there's no satellite images of it.
I don't
I
know.
don't know what to tell you other than that image seems like it's taken out of context.
What do you mean?
I don't even know if it's like a real image, but obviously it doesn't show the rest of the highway. It doesn't show it bending. Should there be curvature
Well, I
over
mean,
that?
what we might be seeing is all right. Actually, I think that is all those closer images is showing this part. Now that I think about it, that land right there in the distance, and then there's that it curving to the right. So I think the closer up images we were seeing is just this section right here.
Well, I don't see other roads coming off of it. I think that's this way. I think that's right before this. It curves, and then there's all those other roads that come onto it. And I think that's the same part that
Or
we.
it might be right there, and it's just hard to see because it's a sharp angle. Because I mean, it kind of just blurs, but it looks like there's a little.
Yeah, it looks like there's something right there.
There is something
But yeah,
there.
it's exactly like.
But it's not just okay. This image proves there's no curvature. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying. To me, I think you should be able to see it, and if the engineers don't have to worry about that when they build stuff like this.
Well, these ones probably did because it's this big.
You say probably, but
But
I don't know how I could even, and I don't know how I could even check that. I mean, I guess for that, I would just have to have a conversation with an actual engineer.
with a Chinese engineer who worked on the fucking.
I guess that would be the only way to know a definitive answer
And
on
that's
that.
why it's a flat Earth talking point. That's why they use it as a talking point because the only way to figure it out is to talk to a fucking Chinese engineer.
I like I mean, to me, just visually, I'm like,
You can tell it's a fucking tiny part of the bridge. There's no way to
you
tell.
say tiny part of the bridge. I don't think it's a tiny part of the bridge because
Well, it's a tiny-
102.4 miles. Because of the next picture I'm going to show you, which this is 60 miles. So compared to that, this is probably most of the bridge. And we'll move on to the next picture. This picture is taken from 60 miles away. So this is probably most of that bridge. We're maybe missing a
No,
tiny
because the
portion.
bridge is smaller than skyscrapers and shit. The bridge is going to be a lot.
Okay,
thinner and
but
smaller.
this image is if we're looking at skyscrapers at the end. If you saw skyscrapers over here, you're not going to really be able to see them that well.
But I'm talking about right here. If these buildings are 60 miles away, right?
Yeah.
Then this would have to be 60 miles away, not that. And this being a road, it would be super thin if it was the same 60 miles away. We saw those roads, they were they were like 4-lane freeways.
Yeah.
So compared to a skyscraper, that would be like that skyscraper's thin line in the distance. I think this image was probably taken from like maybe a few 100 feet in the sky. Maybe
This
a
one right
1,000 feet in the sky. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this is like helicopter height.
Yeah.
So,
But you can't even get like, how much can you see from a helicopter? Like how far, like how
this
much
picture
of
is
a,
taken from ground level.
well, yeah, but I mean like looking down from a helicopter. This is taken at an
Should be
angle
able to
looking
see
down. If you were looking level at it, and it would be as thin as those buildings. So it can't be that distant. It's
I
like
don't
not even
understand
an
what you're saying.
This is well, I mean, I'm just saying like what is if you were looking at
Okay, you said we were looking at a tiny portion of the bridge.
Yeah.
I was saying no, based off of this image, that can't be true because this is 60 miles away. I don't think that this is a tiny portion. This is probably most of that length of 102. I think we're missing part of it, but not all of it. I mean, not like half of it or something.
I think at most we would be seeing like half of it, because like if this is supposed to be like the buildings and we're coming at it from an angle like this, I mean, obviously a lot of it's out of like frame in the front and a lot of it's out of frame in the back, but like, I mean, it would be a shorter distance that we're looking at then. So this would have to be less than 50 miles because we're not looking straight forward, we're looking down.
The higher you are, the farther you can see. I don't know what you mean by that.
Not if you're looking down, if you're looking this way, but not if you're looking down.
But you can see the horizon in the picture. So you can still, the higher up you go, the further you can see on the horizon. The farther away the horizon is, the higher up you go. So that doesn't matter. You can see the horizon in the picture. So that's actually, the horizon is much further in this picture than it would be in this picture, because this is taken from ground level over water, which is going to distort your view. But this...
So what does this mean?
I'm just saying, you said this is a tiny portion of the bridge and that's why we can't see the curve. I'm saying that can't be true because of this image, which shows this is 60 miles. This, just based off of the perspective, like that can't be just a tiny portion of the bridge.
No, I think we could probably just look. I mean, we could. I don't know what you're trying to say. Okay,
but either way, we can move on because we're gonna run out of time and we need to get this over with.
Yeah.
Okay, and we don't need to.
I am left confused by your point there, so I will.
I was just refuting your point that this is a tiny portion of the bridge. I don't believe that. I think this is most of the bridge.
I don't think so.
Probably like 3/4.
I think if you go up like 1,000 feet in the air and look down, you're going to see less than if you look completely forward.
That's literally not true. Like
yeah.
the higher up you go, the farther you can see.
Not if you're looking at water.
Doesn't matter what you're looking at, dude. That's how perspective works. The higher up you go, the farther you can see.
That's not how the center frame of a camera works. If you're looking down, then you're looking down at something. If you're looking forward, you're going to be seeing more.
But you can still see the horizon in the picture, so you're not looking down at the ground. You're looking at an angle, but you can still see the horizon. So you're still looking at the horizon. You can still. It doesn't matter if you're looking directly at it or at an angle down. You can still see the horizon.
It doesn't show anything to show these two images together. Like you could construct
these images aren't. This isn't even supposed to go together. I was just refuting your point about that.
I don't think that shows any type of distance on there. I mean, we could probably figure out what that length of the bridge is in length, but
I mean, that's what we were trying to do.
It's not the entire bridge, and that's what we figured out from the other.
Yeah,
photos.
but you said it's a tiny portion. I'm saying it can't be.
I'm saying it's. Well, it's got to be a small portion of it. It's just one part.
That doesn't mean it's a small portion of it. It's obviously not a small portion of it because of how far you can see. That's what I'm saying. But we can move on.
Okay.
So So this image, this needs to be bigger. This was taken, I think, in 2016 by a photographer, not a flat earther, just a guy who takes pictures. And this was on the news. And the meteorologist or whatever, the weatherman, was talking about it. He was talking about how this is a mirage, and he explains how superior mirages work and yada yada. And when you're actually looking at how superior mirages work, first of all, the buildings would be inverted normally. They would be upside down, and it'd be a hazy image. But aside from that,
shit out of the cameras.
Sorry, I'm trying to like do the whole like.
Yeah, you could do it with, but you just can't touch the table. You got to do it like this. You got to just be patient like a monk, Bradley. This is our training.
I'm not a monk. Fucking, I got too much anger for that shit. But so flat earthers started talking about this image.
Of course,
yeah, because it's clearly not a mirage.
Image over water from far away, so they're like, "Ooh, this is perfect."
Yeah, but because the math doesn't add up. Once again, this is 60 miles away.
Okay.
So we should maybe be able to see like the tops of the very like tippy tops of the tallest buildings.
Why?
I mean, we can, yeah, because of the curve. I mean, we can do the math on that and how tall the buildings are and stuff. So I probably should have had that ready. I didn't.
It's so if it's supposed to be half of 6,000, 3,000 feet?
What?
If the bridge was 6,000 feet of dip.
Okay, so yeah, so maybe like 3,000. Well, I know because the curvature is it's an exponential drop. So the math, I don't think it would work that way. Because it's not like it just doesn't just double over. Like when you double the distance, the curvature doubles. When you double the distance, the curvature like fucking quadruples or some shit, and then it exponentially drops the further away you look. So like across 2 miles, it would be 16 feet, but across fucking 4 miles, it wouldn't be 32 feet. It would be more like 100.
Yeah, because that wouldn't make sense.
Yeah,
yeah, it wouldn't be okay.
Because that would just be a slope.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, yeah, I mean, people have done the math. I've done the math, and even the dude on the news he said. Normally, you would not be able to see this because of the curvature of the Earth. What you're seeing is a mirage. And he like shows the picture, and then he shows like a diagram of how mirages work. And people like really dissected that. And then he did a follow-up story on the news about it, basically like saying, you know, the flat earthers are saying that I'm wrong. And then he did like a little experiment with like I should have found that, but he did like a little experiment like with a lens just showing how the atmosphere magnifies, which actually helps the flat earth point, because that's what we're saying is that this image is being magnified from the distance, and that's why it's being cut off by the water, because the atmosphere magnifies the image
like
that
the
we're
moon
seeing.
Would be
yeah, exactly
surface.
But
that wouldn't that just be the answer then? Is that's like magnified?
No, the answer is that that these buildings are over thousands of feet of curvature, but the light is bending around the curvature so perfectly that it just sits right on the horizon. That's the explanation. But so a guy actually did an experiment. This guy has done a lot of experiments. He's actually dead now, but like people want to see actual experiments. This guy's done a lot of physical experiments. This guy,
hey guys, Rob Skiba here.
Put it to the test. So he rented a fucking boat.
As many of you may know,
so we're not watching the whole thing, obviously. Sorry,
you're good.
He rented a fucking boat and sailed toward. Well, this is like the news story and everything that he's shown. But he rented a boat.
Okay, so why does it matter if this one weatherman was wrong or not?
Because the picture shows buildings from a distance that we shouldn't be able to see them. The weatherman showed it on the news and explained, oh yeah, I mean, you shouldn't be able to see it, but this is why you can see it. And then this guy is showing why how that's not true. Physically sails towards it, and there's a longer version too.
He says you can see it the whole time.
You ever wonder about the legal ramifications of using your hands or your weapon in self-defense?
So if it was a mirage, you wouldn't...
I don't think the weatherman would be right then, but that doesn't prove anything. It sounds like the
weatherman didn't make up the curvature. He didn't make up the math.
Yeah, well...
So, like, the weatherman's just reporting...
Obviously, if there's a photo of the skyline, you could see the skyline. Right?
Yeah. So that's the point. Why can we see the skyline is the question. You can't just answer it with, well, you can see the skyline. That doesn't work. I'm asking why. Because mathematically, you shouldn't be able to see it.
Well, obviously, mathematically, you can.
Yeah.
So let's figure
why?
This out.
Why?
Yeah.
That's the question.
So what is this, the Chicago skyline?
The Chicago skyline from across Lake Michigan.
Why can you see the Chicago skyline from Lake Michigan? Time to wade through a whole bunch more.
Yeah, and that's the explanation, is that the skyline is being refracted around the curvature of the Earth so that you can see it. But if you sail toward, if you take a boat from Michigan and you sail towards it, the buildings just get closer and closer, like they're just sitting there.
Yeah, obviously it doesn't mean that they're not there when they say it's a mirage, that you can see it from that distance.
So there would be a point where the mirage disappears and the actual buildings come up over the curve.
They mean the fact that you can see it is because the images are being cast over light.
Yeah.
But that's like, I mean, that's...
And it's also supposed to be under very specific conditions, but people have photographed this during all times of the year.
But it says you can only do it occasionally.
Yeah, that's what it says.
So, I mean...
Then it became a whole news story that, like, this guy, he did that story, people picked it apart, and then he had to do a follow-up on it.
Let's see what the USA said today. Let's see if they have a good source here. If the Earth is really a globe, the Chicago skyline from Indiana would be hidden by 1,473 feet of Earth curve.
Indiana?
And the post, which garnered 2,000 likes, includes an image of the Chicago skyline taken across Lake Michigan at the Indiana Dunes State Park. But the claim is false.
Oh, yeah.
Scientists say that the photo actually proves that the Earth is indeed curved. While the buildings in the Chicago skyline are visible in the photo, parts of the buildings are obscured by the curve of the Earth.
Yeah, because the buildings are being magnified. And the news guy even showed it in an experiment. And the guy who did the boat experiment did an experiment too, showing that, yeah, I mean, you look through atmospheric lensing, the buildings on the distance are going to magnify and be cut off at the bottom.
Yeah, and it says a simple trigonometric equation confirms that the buildings at the Chicago skyline are indeed visible from the Indiana Dunes State Park.
What?
So the buildings are visible from that state park.
Yeah.
So and it's fine. The equation says that it's fine.
This is the only source that has ever said that from what I've seen. So I want to see that from, like, where the fuck are they getting that? I think they're just saying that. Like, it's bullshit. Because the original news story wasn't even a response to flat earthers. It was just showing the buildings and explaining why we could see it.
Yeah, but the thing is, you can't just take one dude and that's making an ass out of himself and build your theories around that. He could be completely wrong. So we're going to read this source that, like, isn't just one fucking guy on the news being wrong about something. Okay. So the photo used in the meme matches an image captured by a photographer in 2019. The image was taken at the Indiana Dunes State Park, located just across the Indiana-Illinois border on the shores of Lake Michigan. That's what it's how it's pronounced.
Michigan.
Yeah. But the image doesn't prove the Earth is flat like the Post claims, Bradley. According to Rona Oren,
because the buildings are cut off at the building. At the bottom.
Yeah, because the buildings are cut off at the bottom, and you can always see them.
You can physically show through, a fucking table, take a little screen that with like a lens that magnifies a little bit. Put the fucking skyline at the end of the table, and it will magnify it, and the bottoms will be cut off. That doesn't prove that the table is curving. That's just how magnification works when you're looking at a distance.
I don't think you understand exactly what they're talking about.
What? I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
The curve is like
their explanation.
It's not like this. The curve is like that. But it's like how the moon is blown up at the edge of the.
Yeah. Okay. So they're saying the picture proves that the Earth is a sphere because the buildings are cut off at the bottom. When you can show through physical experiment that you can do that on a flat surface, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you can do that on a flat surface with the wrong mechanics. That doesn't prove shit.
Not the wrong mechanics.
Yeah,
the atmosphere provably magnifies things
on the
horizon.
The atmosphere is curving behind. You can't simulate the atmosphere.
That's an assumption. You're assuming that.
No, that's how
you can't presuppose. No, that's not how it works. We're debating. No, listen to me. We're debating if the Earth is a sphere or not. You cannot presuppose the Earth is a sphere and then say, because the Earth is spherical and the atmosphere is curving away, this is why that happens. That's not how you debate.
I'm telling you, that's where the lens is. The lens isn't in between. It's not that the atmospherical curve isn't happening between you and the object. It's happening behind the object and reflecting up. In between this, like it's not
what I'm saying is the buildings you're looking at over a flat surface would be magnified and the bottoms would be cut off. So them saying this image proves that the Earth is a sphere is wrong. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying that it necessarily proves that the Earth is flat. I'm not even saying that. I'm saying that it shows that the Earth isn't a sphere. That's what I'm saying. And they're saying the opposite.
How does it show that the Earth isn't a sphere, though?
Because it doesn't matter. Because you can see the buildings over a supposedly curved surface.
But that's okay.
And you sail towards it.
And you can
the buildings just get closer. They don't.
Well,
there's no point where the mirage gets hazy, fades away, and then the buildings come up over the horizon.
There's no point where the moon gets hazy and fades away and there's another moon. But the moon is magnified over the horizon because of the curve of the atmosphere.
But you're presupposing a curved atmosphere. No, I'm saying if you look...
That's the answer for the phenomenon that we already have.
I'm giving you an alternative answer for the phenomenon that we already have.
And your alternative answer is that there's a lens in between us and the object?
That's the atmosphere. That's how it works.
No, that's not how it works.
That is how it works.
That's not how perspective works.
I mean, we could argue that all day then. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of a...
Yeah.
Let's see what the rest of this is. Noted the lower halves of the building are not visible. According to Oren's calculations, 500 feet of the bottom of the Willis Tower, the tallest building in Chicago, would not be visible based on the distance the picture was taken from. The claim that there are 1,400 feet in elevation that is in the way is not correct. When I do the calculation, I get around 500 feet. So any building taller than 500 feet should be visible. Stefan explained his calculation took into account variables such as the height of the Willis Tower, elevation, and the distance between Chicago and the Dunes State Park. He concluded that it's possible to see the city skyline from the park despite the curve of the Earth. Peter Littlewood, the chair of the Department of Physics at the University of Chicago, said the formula for determining whether a structure would be visible from a certain area is high school trigonometry.
Well, okay, Peter, but not everybody knows high school trigonometry.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know high school
I
trigonometry.
think most people don't. I would say the majority.
It's pretty clear that you could see the Chicago skyline from the dunes, said Littlewood. He's like, yeah, fucking yeah. Humans have known the Earth is. Oh, okay. Well,
So, I mean,
it's around. It's supposed to be around 500 feet, according to the
even based off of that, you can see
they asked.
most of all of the buildings on the skyline.
Well, no.
You think all those buildings
what
are that
you're
much taller?
seeing- And what you're seeing is the buildings are cut at that 500-foot line, and then they're being magnified by the atmosphere. So they look bigger at that point. So they're like sort of like the mirage is that they're bigger than they should be from your perspective. The same the moon would be on the horizon. Like, because it does like a magnifying effect when you're like on the edge of the atmosphere, well, on the edge of like the horizon of things. It's like it's how the moon like looks bigger, because the moon doesn't look bigger to like it's purely a perspective thing based off like the curve of the edge of the atmosphere from our perspective. Because when you look at it, you're seeing all of the light hit and bend, and it does crazy shit. I mean, it does it with the moon. I mean, there's no other explanation for the moon doing that.
What do you mean there's no other explanation for the moon doing that? The moon looks bigger from farther distance because you're looking through more atmosphere. That's why it does that.
Then how come
the moon looks bigger on the horizon than it does overhead? Right? Do we agree on that?
Yeah,
So it's being magnified by the atmosphere.
it's being magnified on the edges of our vision where we see the most curve in the atmosphere, not just by virtue of looking through the atmosphere,
but you
because
have to
there's no
understand-
lensing in the air.
No, but you have to think about how perspective works, even on a flat plane. If you're looking like, okay, just play along here. I'm not saying you need to believe this. Just play along, okay? Imagine a flat atmosphere, right? And you're standing inside of it looking up at something. That's going to be the shortest amount of atmosphere you're looking at. When it's on the horizon, you're looking through the entire stretch of the atmosphere that you can see before you can actually see it. So you're looking through way more atmosphere. So it's going to magnify. That's what I'm saying. It's the same effect that you're describing with the curved atmosphere that you're saying. It's the same effect because you're looking at it through an angle.
Mechanic that doesn't actually exist.
I'm not making up a mechanic that maybe you're making up a mechanic.
No,
that exists.
no, I'm not. That's because this is a verifiable thing. Like this is, like
I'm saying logically it would work the same way. So that doesn't even
because you're making like that's like saying logically if like
so we can't.
there was a different chemical in the air, I would be breathing that instead of oxygen. You know, you can't disprove that with the level of knowledge you have. Like, there's no way to show me an oxygen molecule.
It doesn't even make sense because then we would just call that oxygen, and then it doesn't matter.
No, what if you were just claiming you breathed something else and oxygen was just made up? You actually breathed miasma.
That would be a weird claim.
You want me to show that to you? I'm sorry, I'm teasing you a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. No, that doesn't even make sense. So
I know
don't.
it doesn't make sense. I know it doesn't, but it still qualifies as teasing because of my tone. Oh, so it doesn't magnify stuff. So it's just showing the real size of those buildings across the lake. So that's just the answer.
I mean, there's two different explanations for that then, because
yeah, the news guy was wrong.
and it's not just the news guy, but whatever. We can move on.
Okay.
So here's another image that to me is very anomalous. This is, I'm not sure exactly what these platforms are.
Yeah.
There are these platforms in the water. This one's 6.21 miles away. This one's 9.41 miles away. And I've seen this debated multiple times. And the explanation is always that it's being refracted, as always. Refraction, that's why you can see it. But when you look at this image, like, this is not below this, it's above it. And then you can still see the horizon behind this. So is the horizon also being refracted over the horizon? That doesn't even make sense. How can you see the horizon behind the horizon?
Oh, this looks like a shitty picture.
Well, it's this is a different picture without it's not shitty, it's enhanced so that you can see the color.
Oh, it looks like it's shitified.
It's so shitified. Yeah, this is a better picture. This is what it would look like to your eyes.
Yeah.
There's that. Oh, look, it's going over the curve. Oh, look.
Yeah,
and that's the effect that.
And then the shitified picture has the.
But then that's not. So this is what you can't see. The horizon.
The picture is shitty. That's just it's been in shitified, and the other one looks right. Right? I mean, I don't see a problem here.
No,
that looks like a fucking. I thought you were showing me some shit from like the fucking 1940s when you were like before we scrolled down to show the other pictures.
No,
like I was like, is this like Ghost Ship?
It does kind of look like Ghost Ships, huh?
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I didn't think about that. Yeah, no, but the explanation for this image, every time I've seen anybody discuss this, is that it's refraction. But then you're trying to tell me that the horizon is being refracted over the horizon so that it appears behind both the horizon and these things that should be below the horizon as well.
It looks like a shitty filtered version of the original image. Meant to mislead people.
No, it's meant to enhance what you can't see because
I feel like I could see a lot better in the other one. Let's go back to the other one. I don't know.
It looks like these are two different images taken probably under different conditions.
Yeah, I mean,
but these are the two pictures I found of it showing these two platforms at a distance. This is what people would see and be like, oh, look, it's going over the curve. But and this has been shown in a lot of, I've seen this demonstrated over and over. Like there's more, especially over water, the horizon is not right there. That's the horizon you see is, there's like, it's being cut off. The water back here is being miraged and reflecting the sky so you can't see it. This is the same effect you see on hot roads, when you see the road disappear and the tires of the cars melt into the road. Same exact thing. So, in this image, when you look across water,
I kind of see it. Yeah,
you see what I'm saying? When you look across
the reflection on it, yeah,
yeah. So it's being reflected. So the horizon is probably right here.
Yeah, I see exactly where it is.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying is normally this is what you would see and it looks like it's going over a curve. But when you can enhance pictures like this, and yeah, it looks shitty because it's enhanced, but you can see the horizon.
It looks shitty because it's shitified. It's been in shitified.
Yeah. You call it shitified. I call it enhanced. Whatever.
Well, I mean,
it's
you be the judge, audience.
Look, okay. This is what I'm saying. This is what you would see with your naked eye. This is what is actually happening. The horizon is behind this.
No, see, okay, I understand it. I'm finally there. I figured it out.
You're finally
okay. So just like this is a reflection, just like a road, right?
Yeah.
You're saying that's right there?
Yeah.
So this is actually showing the true line. And this is where the reflections are. Boop, 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 boop. And then that's the reflection of the ship.
That's the horizon behind.
Yeah, well, no, that's the true horizon that we're talking about. But this is all just the reflection at the bottom, like a hot road.
So you're saying this is the real horizon that we see in the background, right?
Yeah, and then this is the reflection.
That's my point.
They increase the saturation a whole bunch to where it looks like there's another horizon behind the boat. But that's not what's happening.
Wait, what are you saying is the real horizon?
This, where the sky is
white like this. This is that reflection thing that you're talking about.
So the real horizon that you can see in this image,
Yeah.
that's the whole point I'm trying to make, is that if this is refraction, why is the horizon being refracted over the horizon? You can see the horizon behind.
No, it isn't. That's not what. See, look, if
they're saying it's refraction, that's why you can see this.
No, it's refraction. That's why you can see this parts of the ship, and it looks like there's a second horizon. Is because it's reflecting part of the ship, and they could turn the saturation up a whole bunch to where it looks like one continuous thing with a second horizon behind it, making this boat look like it's in front of the second horizon, when it's actually just a reflection caused by that same illusion that we see in this other photo on this bottom part. So if we were to increase the intensity right here, this part where it's showing this extra little bit that doesn't make sense, that's just the reflection. So if I increase the contrast right here, it would show that there would be a second horizon behind this boat.
Yeah.
Just like that. But that doesn't mean that there's a second horizon behind the boat. It's just that, like, once
that's the real horizon. This isn't the actual horizon. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, not where the
there's a cutoff
not
point.
Where the blue ends. There's clear. That clear is where it's reflecting the sky and reflecting part of the boat. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes,
and I
so
see it right here. You can see where it reflects part of the boat. It's reflecting part right here. And if this is the true horizon, then it would show up as behind this if you were to increase the fucking contrast.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes, but that okay. So 99% of the Earth.
This is something that happened this year. And I remember hearing about it. It was July 8th of this year.
Do you want to watch this video or do you want to look it up just to save time?
I mean, it's not a long video, but we can. I mean, it would probably be longer if we read a fucking article.
Well, we have to get an answer.
Yeah. In the video, they show.
What was the date? June 8th?
July 8th.
July 8th. Well, that's right before Erica's birthday.
But in the video, they actually do an experiment with a globe to see if this checks out.
Okay, so that means 99% of the Earth's nearly 8 billion residents will be on the sunlit side at the same time. So that means the land.
Yeah.
There's a lot of water.
So 99%. Yeah. But if you actually do, you can go to, and that's why the video is probably better, because they go to timeanddate.com. They show that day what land masses are in the sun, and then they do.
Well, in the sun doesn't mean sunlit. Like in the sun, like day and dusk.
Day side.
Well, there's also dusk, and there's still sun hitting parts in the dusk.
But that's at the
and
edges.
that's whenever they want to say like an extra ass thing like that, they're probably fucking. It's probably a lot simpler than. Nearly the entire world's population will bask in the sun rays. You feel me? How that's a little like a little specific because it's a sensationalized
Yeah, it's very
term.
specific.
That's why he's saying it so specifically. A claim circulated. In other words, 1% sounds a little far-fetched, right? It turns out it's true. EarthSky.org crunched the numbers at 11 Universal Time. An additional 3% will be from astronomical twilight, which occurs when the sun is below the horizon, but its glow still.
Okay, so then 96% of the world is in straight up sunlight.
No, they're talking about everything from when the sun is in the sky, to when it's so far below that all you're seeing is a glow.
Yeah, they're saying that's only 3%. Is that?
No, that would be. They're saying they're counting. See, 96% of the population is in a bit of sunlight, and then an additional 3% is in astronomical sunlight, which is darkness. So they're counting everything from normal sunlight to darkness, all the way to like where it's basically dark.
What are you talking about?
Because they're counting
astronomical twilight is when
the sun is below the horizon,
but the light is still peaking.
Yes, a patch of the sky.
So that's not.
So that's pretty late at night. That's pretty far. Like that would be nighttime to most people. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's just like, it's an exaggerated article. I mean, it's an exaggerated term.
I mean, you can say that, but like,
but I mean, that's it. Like, this guy is probably going to say that it's talking about, well, look, we're going to see what he's saying. He's going to be talking about daytime when we're talking about everything from day to fucking like late dusk. Like, we're talking about every moment that the sun could be like peaking on one end of the horizon and you seeing a little fucking glow on the edge.
Yeah, well, okay. So this is...
So, and we could...
happening right now across the globe. As of about 3 minutes ago, 7:15 Eastern Time, 99% of the entire world's population is facing...
Oh, see, we can't even... He has copyright music in there.
Yeah. But...
Oh, my God. See, okay, see, look.
It's showing the parts of the Earth that will be lit up.
Yeah.
This is the part you're talking about, the like twilight, right? This little like dark blue section. So that yeah.
Yeah.
It says twilight right there. And then this is night.
Yeah.
So they're not counting any of this, they're counting all of this.
Yeah,
So
even the stuff in Twilight.
So that's what we're looking at.
And that's all of the that's most of the Earth's population.
Video, okay, so he does like a test with a globe, a light, to see like.
Yeah, and it would be counting stuff on this. That's what we're saying.
Yeah.
And this is the worst way to explain it because
he's measuring the angle to line it up and everything. So you can like add some twilight right here where the light fades away. That doesn't change much.
Yeah.
He's marking where the terminator line is.
Yeah, I think this is the worst fucking way he could do this. This is the most harebrained, like...
Why? How would you do it?
Because he's in his garage with a fucking light.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, there are things that track the sun's thing, like path in the sky. You don't have to...
That's what he used.
But he's
to show what continents he's looking for. So what parts of the world will be in darkness and what parts will be in light.
Check out all the land that doesn't light up on the globe. Half of Russia, most of Asia, Mongolia, half of India, Thailand.
This is ridiculous. That's nothing like what we're talking about. He grossly misunderstands it, and then.
So how do you show that then? Like, what's the mistake here? How
that news people are sensational, and there's not really a mistake if they're counting everything from.
I'm talking about the experiment. What was wrong with the experiment?
The experiment was he was purposely, they had Asia in the fucking diagrams, so I don't know why he's like re-showing that Asia wouldn't be in the diagram. Because it obviously is in the sun tracker things. And if it was like doing the edges too, that the edges were only in places like Australia and Western America. So why is he talking about, he was being misleading and confusing on purpose and misunderstanding the whole thing.
I don't know. I don't even understand what you're saying. You went out of the video and now you're.
Well, we can go back to it.
I don't know what you're saying.
Check this out. On July 8th, 99% of the world.
Okay.
So what he showed on the globe. Go back to that.
Across the
what he showed on the globe is that all this was in darkness. You can add twilight there if you want, but in this, it's in daylight.
What he decided that by a globe in his basement, and you're going to trust that over actual? No, that's not the same as going and getting an actual sun tracker. Look at him.
What are you talking about getting an actual sun tracker? What does that mean?
You can get things that track like. And what is he? You could prove this with what he's doing right. Oh yeah, because he's trying. Oh my God, the fucking ridiculous sun and the platter things.
You just say it's all ridiculous and he's being misleading, but you don't explain how. The map shows completely different than what the physical globe
Because
shows.
he's in his fucking basement doing
What is
this.
the basement changes the proportions of the globe?
But
I don't understand how that changes anything.
They're showing like what is he?
Okay, this is the actual. You said why doesn't he get an actual sun tracker or whatever? That's what he's testing. Okay, this is what the
sun tracker
actual
is wrong because the globe in his basement.
He's saying the globe is wrong because the sun trackers are right. What are you talking about? This is based off of the actual sun tracking. This is people tracking the sun. This is what we observe. This is the daylight we observe. It doesn't line up with the actual physical model of the globe.
Yes, it does. Why would you think it doesn't?
And I've seen this on other occasions. I would have to find those as well.
This
I've
is
seen
a
other
map
dates
where
it
it's
doesn't add up.
stretched at the top because it's a Mercator projection.
But it's showing
so it's looping like this. It's a perfect circle from the sun, like from the Earth's curvature, and the sun hitting it from one angle.
What?
Like I don't know why. Like how is that fucking?
What are you doing? Okay. The daylight that it shows on here does not add up with the actual models of the globe, which are supposed to be more accurate than this map.
That doesn't make any sense because if this wasn't a Mercator projection, this would be a circle. So I don't see what.
This actually isn't a Mercator projection. It's a Gauss-Peter projection, which makes the continents the right sizes. The Mercator projection makes Greenland way bigger than Africa. Here, it's more accurate. It's not completely accurate, but it's way more accurate than the Mercator. But that's a side note.
Okay, but what I'm saying is if it's stretched like that because if it was on a globe, it would be a circle. Like I don't understand why this would be like, oh, impossible. Like I don't understand that at all. How would this be impossible?
What do you mean?
Because this guy showed it in a garage.
The globe is supposed to be how the Earth actually is, not this map. But this map represents the sunlight we actually see. So he's showing that the sunlight we actually see in the continents that are lit up on that specific day does not match with the actual globes that we have that are supposed to be accurate representations of the Earth. That's the point. I mean,
I think that's the most harebrained way to do a fucking experiment like that. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I think if you reconsidered that for a little bit, you would change your mind.
I mean, it's a physical experiment. I don't see people on the globe side doing any better.
I mean, there's a Dave McKeegan video. Watch that.
On that? Or what
on this specific thing.
On this specific day?
Yeah, on the July thing.
Okay, well, I'll watch it. I don't know. So, you see, I've watched a couple of his videos, and I really didn't like him, so I'm trying not to give him views.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I'll watch it, whatever. Okay, so this is what I was trying to tell you about when I said that Einstein, like relativity was specifically reverse engineered to explain why the Earth is clearly not moving. And this is the Michelson-Morley experiment. This was an experiment.
Not have time for this.
I know.
Okay, so we're going to save this for part 3. We're not going to do part 3 next, though. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these subjects. So we're going to take Michelson-Morley. I'm going to add
that was the last one. We talked about the axis of evil a little bit. On the
yeah, but I want
to
to do the game to end the show instead of ending it on another confusing
Okay.
thing.
Well, I mean,
we'll do Michelson-Morley next. Okay?
Okay, well, not next week.
Not next week, but next. For our next space episode, we'll do Michelson-Morley.
All right, well, I mean, I guess I'll have more to
and let's do
add to that.
Let's do Around the World first. And we'll do Michelson-Morley next.